Thank you so very much. Characteristically, usually I would have, I would have jumped in and said, "Oh, it's okay, it's enough." But we need to hear from the horse's mouth, even though it's not a horse. Honestly, this has been very wonderful. This has been great, and for all of our people to be here today, Titi Ojo, Acting Executive Secretary, the Network of Practicing Non-Oil Export of Nigeria, Reginald Nabwe, Chairman, CEO of Sagaso Worldwide Ghana Limited, Engineer Titus Olowokere, President and CEO of the U.S. Africa Trade Council, Mr. Abdullahi Sidi Aliu, CEO AS Dynamic Ventures Limited, and Dr. Ken Ukawa, President of the National Association of Nigerian Traders. Thank you so very much. So we're going now to call on some of the people that have signified that they have really gained something. This program is not just about talking. It is about impacting lives. So we have some of them here now. Mr. Femi Boyede, you want to start calling them out?
I don't know in what order you want us to call them. But
any order is
okay.
wonderful.
Well, so there's no order. No, it's not a matter of priority. We just call. I don't know. Is Chimere there and ready?
I can see Chimere. You are on mute. Unmute yourself. And if possible, if you can see the face, that would be nice. If you feel comfortable.
I am sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. Good evening.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. You have 5 minutes.
It's my honor and my pleasure to be here. Again, I want to thank the Talking Trade team. You people have been very wonderful. Let me remember. I think the first time I joined this program was when we had the CBN governor on. I can't remember which episode again. And since that day, I don't think I've ever missed any webinar. It's been one of the greatest gifts of 2021 for me. The knowledge I have acquired from this place. I'm wondering how many $1,000 I would have paid to acquire it if I had gone to an institution or something, you know, and I'll be forever grateful. What I've learned from here have set me up for what I want to do for 2022. How to plan my business, how to make sure I do things the proper way, and how I can, you know, move my business to a higher realm. So I'm so grateful. I can go on and on, but the knowledge, and I try as much as I can to invite fellow exporters to this platform. We should never take it for granted. The knowledge we get from the teachings here. And for Mr. Femi to say this is all done pro bono is beyond the I don't know how to I'm amazed. Pro bono for this time, effort, and the knowledge we are getting here. If I had a hat now, I would dub it off for you, but imaginary hat. I remove it. So once again, I just want to say thank you, and I'm so glad that I found this group. So let me just chip in something, because Mr. Femi was saying something about 2022, and I think is this something we need to consider. Please, the experts, how do we solve this issue? Why is it that those of us exporting from Africa, we are at the buyer's mercy? But when it's coming, you know, when it's Africans buying, we are at the seller's mercy. So please, you know, I think this is something you guys should pen down and look at it and see how we can discuss and get better information. So I say thank you again, everybody. And I'll leave it here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Ojonu. Because of the last question you asked, I'm going to be asking Reginald, Mr. Reginald Nabwe, to be the next speaker, because I know that he does have a response and he does have some perspectives on what we can do to change the narrative. Reginald, if you are there, thank you.
Sir, I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, my brother. I want to thank everyone that is here for the opportunity to be here. And I am so glad because I know that the time of Africa has come. That is the reason why we are synergizing like we are doing today. And I'll go straight because I know that there are a lot of things that we have to discuss today and a lot of people to speak. You can see that from the question, why is it that when Africa is exporting, we are at the mercy of the buyers? But when they are importing, when we are importing, we are also at the mercy of the seller. And that is because it is those who produce the byproducts that rule the world. Now, the producer determines the cost of whatever it is that he produces. Dangote, for instance, when Dangote decides that his cement, once he wants his cement to increase, he increases it. Or he wants to reduce, he reduces it. Why? Because he is the one that is producing. Now, trade is very, very powerful. But trade becomes most effective when you are the one that is trading what you are producing. Because you see, I keep saying that the reason why we are backward is because we are always selling raw materials. The power of trade is in byproduct, is not in raw materials. The value addition is actually the power of the raw material. Now we have crude, but we sell crude. We buy petroleum products. Now, how can you sell crude and buy petroleum products? America today doesn't sell crude, but they have more crude than everybody. What they do is that they give value to the raw materials that they can find from all over the world. Look at China, for instance. China 30 years ago, when I was young, when we were younger in the 80s, we used to send rice. My dad used to use my launcher voucher sometimes to buy rice if it doesn't have physical cash to send to China. Now, but today, China is no longer the same. The reason why it's like that is because China became a nation that produces what others consume. The non-producing people will always be at the mercy of those who produce. Those who are not giving value to the things that they have will not create the jobs that are necessary for the nations to become rich. And you know that it is always the rich nations of the world that determines the fate of the world. And to be rich, you have to make your people rich. The whole dynamics of trade, which happens to be about relationship, like you said, trade is actually the exchange of, it's not just the trade in services and goods, it's also the relationship, is actually relationship between individuals and nations amongst themselves. So in a situation where you have something, but that something is not as valuable as it should be, you will be at the mercy of the one who is buying, because now you have orange. I went to Ushongo to do a cooperative meeting, and they were saying to me, sometimes they will pack their oranges, and these malams that will come and buy them could just delay for a reason and say, oh, we cannot come today. And before you know, their oranges have gotten bad. Why? Because they are selling raw materials. But if for some reason there was a processing plant in Ushongo where these oranges could easily have been moved to give value to, what will happen is that your product can stay as long as you can. It can stay, and you won't be at the mercy of the one who is buying at that moment. So if it's not buying, it can be preserved. It's preservative. It's preserved. They are preservatives to those products. So it is only when you are at advantage, where you can keep your products for as long as you can keep it, that you will not be at the mercy of the buyers. And from everything that I have seen about Africa and why we are how we are, it is just one little thing. We keep selling raw materials, and we cannot continue to sell raw materials. I believe that our trade dynamics and our trade principles have to change from just selling raw materials to finding way to ensure that we get the best value first before we begin to make sales. So my idea has always been that individually we cannot compete with the developed world. Now, I say this, the Africa Free Continental Trade Area has come. And what that means is that we do not need to compete with those who are ahead of us, but we can compete with ourselves, within ourselves. I know that made in Nigerian products can easily sell in Ghana. I can easily sell in Senegal. It can easily sell in Kenya. But if we are thinking always that we want to export to the big nations, which is strategically important because they are the ones that have the big cash, but we must start charity. Charity, they say, begins at home. What we must do, we must take advantage of the after to make sure that we power local production to trade amongst ourselves because the FTA, the free trade area, has rules. And as long as we meet the rules amongst ourselves, we can easily trade amongst ourselves first. While we are trading amongst ourselves, while our products becomes more acceptable in the continent, you realize that the same thing will happen across. Chinese products used to be synonymous with being low standard, but now their standard is increasing. Remember when Taiwan was synonymous with low quality. Today, it's no longer like that. It is only when we begin to locally produce that we are able to consume for ourselves. And then in consuming for ourselves, we can now begin to give to others who also need. But if we are always recipients, we are always receiving, want to buy products. Nigerians don't want to drive the innocent car, they want to drive Mercedes-Benz. And I keep saying, if you don't want to drive innocent car, you have to migrate to Germany to go and live. Because it's in driving innocent car or locally made cars that we are able to produce for our people and employ our people and prosper our people. And as long as the people prosper together with us, we'll become a powerful nation and they will no longer be treating us the way they are treating us. The reason why they are treating us the way we are treating us is because we are poor. And we must address that. And poverty has to do with joblessness. And to stop joblessness of the people, you must locally produce and give value to your raw materials before you sell. And to do that, all we need to do is create cooperatives of individuals and our farmers, turn them into an economic bloc, and give them access to funding to have processing plants to do local value addition, meeting international standards. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know we'll leave you. We'll be here till tomorrow. You are fired up and you are firing up these discussions. Thank you so very much. So we'll be giving 5 minutes each to each person so that we can have enough time later for all of us to now kind of talk. Thank you so very much. That was powerful. Yes, Mr. Boyede, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you very much. I don't know. Okay, we have Elizabeth Nwankwo in the house. Madam, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
I'm Elizabeth Olanrewaju Nwankwo. For short, Lanre Nwankwo, but some say Elizabeth, so people get confused. However, I would like to step on immediately from where the last speaker spoke. We all know that production is the key. There's no need to interpret export as production. Production is different from export. Export is trading. So if we trade alone without being involved in production, the price will never be right. And that is all my brother was trying to come from every angle of the line of trading.
Yes, Elizabeth, thank you so very much. We want to, first of all, to share what have you gained from this program and what are you looking forward to and your other things, your testimonial.
Well, my testimony is that I've gained so much and I've been able to interact with other knowledgeable people like myself. And I've been able to ascertain that at the AGOA side of US, the brokers are not knowledgeable, even as much as we do. I have also gained from other speakers that as Africans, we actually have the information, we have the knowledge, we have the technical know-how, But sometimes for few things, maybe lack of network, which is what we are bridging by this gathering. We're able to network and get more information and ascertain the information we have within ourselves to know that what we have in our mind is right. Going forward, as I've been discussing, is that we will try to guide other people coming behind us, sharing our past experiences with other people. We also help them not to fall into the pit. Thank you. Yes, madam.
Thank you very much, madam. And I also appreciate the line of your very passionate intervention, because the truth is production without trading and trading without production, they go hand in hand anyway. So we appreciate, and we also, again, let me reiterate our appreciation of the fact that you allowed us to use you as the guinea pig for other people to understand what it takes to actually trade. Before we bring another testimonial, I have all these wonderful experts waiting. I don't know if engineers, Alaji Sidi Aliu, if you are ready to bring in an interjection before we bring in the next participant.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Boyode. I actually look at the question on why exporters in Africa are at the buyer's mercies. Well, I think let us understand that it's not only African buyers that are at the, exporters that are at the mercies of the buyers. I think it's a global event, because the final consumer of your product is actually occupying an important position in the success story of your product, and therefore the buyer is supreme, the consumer is supreme. So they will now determine how and in what manner they handle your product. But the most important thing is for you to understand that product that you have in mind, or the product you have in question, what position is that product occupying along the value chain? And as one of the participants mentioned, value addition is key, because if you are dealing in raw materials only, raw materials could be procured virtually all over the world. And therefore, these buyers that are at the other end would like to play around with your intelligence and to see whether you were able to conform with whatever they want. They will set a lot of standards for your products. There are a lot of technical barriers which we need to scale. So I think, generally speaking, the position your product is occupying along the value chain is very important. And that is why in subsequent edition of this program, we will be emphasizing on value addition more, because that is when and where you will discover that your role is important, and then you'll be able also to run the shots. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayoga. I appreciate you again for the prompt response every time. Yeah. Engineer Olokere, I happen to have had discussions with you when I was in Atlanta at your invitation that went along these lines. And I've seen that on our US Africa WhatsApp group, you have also generated quite a lot of opinions about this. Before we take the next testimonial, please take the floor.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Boyede. I think there's something missing. It should by now be Chief Boyede or Dr. Boyede or Professor Boyede. Why do they keep calling me Mr. Boyede?
I am Femi Boyede. Femi Boyede, nothing more.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to be here. I was going to start my contributions on a different note, expressing different opinions from South Africa from Mr. Boyede, and the last speaker, but Lady K has cautioned us to stick to the script. I'll stick to the script. I hope I get a chance to express my thoughts after this. But anyway, I really appreciate the privilege to be here. I've learned a lot more from this program than any other program I've attended, and the quality of the speakers, the resourcefulness of the convener has been very impactful, you know. And I was very pleased to make the presentation on the trading with USA, the opportunities, the challenges, the compliance requirements. It was a privilege, and I'm glad a lot of people benefited from that. To me, it was like a demystification of trading with the United States.
Yeah.
There are lots of opportunities here. Knowledge is very key. And I also hope the listeners to this program, any of the presentations, will learn from the knowledge gained, and not just learn from acquire the knowledge, but actually put this into practice. And I'm happy that after their presentation, I got a lot of information, a lot of calls and follow-ups from 2 different countries in Africa, and a lot more from Nigeria. And we have put together a mechanism to develop a trade hub between US and Nigeria to start with. And that would be a trade house that will be able to assist traders coming to US, help them with the registration, help them with the compliance requirements, help them to find buyers, and help them to prepare their product for the international market. And to me, I think it's a very good value added, to this presentation. I think, I really recommend going forward that you also want to increase the variety of the speakers that come on, probably have a mix of Africans and Americans. It's not a Africa program, it's not a Nigeria program, it's not a US program. To me, it's a global program that has worldwide appeal. So if you get some speakers from China, from Singapore, or those countries, Singapore, here, Malaysia, where they have made remarkable progress in trade and development and investment, we also had a lot more global presence and appeal to the program. I think we're doing very well anyway. So just want to say thanks a lot for the opportunity. And I believe we're going to build up a lot more on this going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the periscope. And well, we will not stop thanking. I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm laughing or if I'm smiling or which one of them, but I just remembered a guy who went to visit his in-law, and then the in-law escorted him and they spoke, and then he didn't want to take, he also wanted to give, so he escorted, and they kept escorting one another. So we will keep thanking one another because we appreciate you also, Engineer Oloukere. Titi Ojo, I practically dragged you out of bed from all the various travels. Please, can you come in at this point?
Okay, good evening from Nigeria. I want to say good evening. I realized that Canada will not be in the evening. All right, so let me first start my testimonial. I've been studying the decade, like starting their testimonial. So Talking Trader has been amazing, honestly. And for me, I've seen it as a global platform, even from day one. Even though we're building, it's like we build towards it. So it has to start from somewhere. There's always a starting point, but as the value keeps increasing, many people will begin to come into the space. So for me, I've seen Talking Trader as a global platform right from its inception. And of course, the couple of speakers, I think I missed maybe one or two, but the last that the Agua was really rich. I missed Engineer Oloukere session and messaged him privately though, if you can see my message, that I would like to engage him on one or two things, because currently we're also working with some exporters and wanted to see opportunities for the US market. So perhaps that's a session I know I missed that. I really did miss, that's a fact. So it gets better each time, and I look forward to talking to it. So that's my testimonial. I'm seeing a future. Engineer Loke just talked about it now, that it's important to bring in other speakers from other continents, from other countries. I think, yes, that should be more like a strategy for next year. And maybe we can begin to build up the speakers directory, more or less. We begin to build up that speaker, profiling our speakers. I keep saying because I feel like I own this thing with you, sir. Mr. Brady and the team.
Of course, now. Yeah,
But I keep saying because for me, man, this is it. So we'll start profiling the speakers early, looking at where they are, where their geographical locations, and of course, perhaps getting across to them on time. Perhaps also scheduling a program, an agenda to know, okay, this week, this month, this is the person that's going to feature and all that. And before we know it, 2022 will be filled even from January, knowing who is coming up and who is not. So it's just to coast along and get the real deal done next year. Let me just quickly say that I've spoken to Engineer Loke. I really like to connect with him, really. And of course, somebody said, apologies. Okay, so that's Engineer Loke. The issue of local production still remains something I crack my head about a whole lot as a Nigerian, because there's so many things that can make us really become big on production. There's also the political will, there's a commitment we need. But the fact is, we need models as well. Okay, we need models. And when I say models, we need those that are going to break the norm. They break away from the norm and do something about the situation. And because they can do it, other people will follow suit. So that's my challenge. I'm also the challenge I'm throwing into this room. I see Bamdele Ayemibo here. There are times when our SMEs are complaining about things, Bamdele will be like, it's not about complaining. Do something about it. You can. Some of us are in the circle. Yeah, some of us in a circle of control. We have power to do certain things. Let's stop looking at what is not working, and let's just get our acts together and get it done. And by doing so, you also give yourself an assurance that it can be done. And other people also seeing you do it, also encourage you to do the same. And so that's how I'm going to leave this here today. We've been encouraged in more ways than one on the track. In the Talking Trade platform, we've been encouraged in many more ways than one. And I want us to take on that challenge in 2022. Perhaps some of us have plans, and maybe Talking Trade has gingered us. So beside the gingering is to put that feet in the water. That's what it is. And just do it. Like Nike said, just do it. Because the more we begin to shine that light, other people can also, we give other people permission to shine the same light as well. We'll begin to see things happen and see that, okay, this is another SME. Now, why am I complaining? Before you know it, one is like light, is like deep calls onto deep. And that's just the way it is. And that's just a challenge I want to throw at us here. Talking Trade has been a great platform for information sharing, and the quality of people coming in have been excellent. Let's just take the deep dive. And we can also even collaborate here. I know so. We can call onto ourselves where we need help. So let's just see how we can leverage even what we're doing here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Titi Ojo. We appreciate. And of course, you said deep call onto the deep. So your in those days when I used to go to NTA to record my export digest, the producers were always like, you are gesticulating too much. I said, no, it's the energy in me. It's the way this thing is paining me. That's why I have to express it. So we share that, and we actually appreciate your blending with us, and that we're doing this together. 2022, definitely. Engineer Lokere, thank you for the suggestions. Of course, we are in this together. We are going to swim together. There's no sinking. Just take that from me. I know there's sorry, Mr. Obodo, if I don't remember the first name, because it seems that you signed in with Doris. Can you please share your experiences with us? Mr. Obodo, you have the floor. I hope he hasn't left. Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, my camera is having an issue. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are. Go ahead.
Hello.
We'll manage without the picture.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. I'm quite grateful, and I have followed the program right from its inception. In fact, we that are working hard to go into exportation, and we are still dealing with locally with the goods, most of which we get from the north, and we are planning seriously. And from this information we've gotten from the platform and every other places, in short, it's building us up much. And before we think exporting is like a very big thing. But now from the information and from the words from you, Femi, and other experts in the program, I'm just seeing an export is something that we're doing and we're doing fine. Thank you very much, and God bless everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. While we were preparing for this, we were debating if we actually wanted to have. I was the one who, let me confess, I was the one who said I don't want it to be like a flattery and praise singing thing, that we wanted feedback. But if we wanted everybody to speak, I imagine everybody has one testimony or the other that they would want to share about what they have gained from this. So we are encouraged that really people have been on, and people have been actually taking value. It's interesting the kinds, the depth, the richness of discussions that go on. We also have a Talking Trade WhatsApp platform. And so it looks like the next thing we want to do is, like Titi Ojo suggested, move away from just talking to actually putting together stuff that will ensure that people are now beginning to actualize the suggestions, the rhetorics of talking. And having said that, I want to come back again to our experts in the house, not just about the drafting, the concepts and what have you, but honestly, putting the building blocks together, one of which is what Engineer Oluokere suggested, that, informed us that he's already thinking of doing, having a trading hub. I might inform you that we were in the process of discussing with the Nigerian authorities about establishing an export trading house here in Canada. That seems to be suspended for the time being. But really, when you have platforms like this, it is about evolving solutions to challenges. And challenges mostly that we have had from this platform, I think I would say that 55% will be about market access. And market access, not just finding the market, but what are the compliance issues, what are the knowledge challenges that need to be overcome. That's where the issue of export readiness capacity comes in, and where we actually need to continue to not only encourage, but to assist one another. And on this note, I want to come back again. No, before I come back to you, there is a silent listener and he's as knowledgeable, if not more, than me on export matters. Mr. Ayemibo, we would like to hear from you. Mr. Bamdele Ayemibo.
That is flattery.
Eh?
That is flattery.
No. That is stating it the way it is. Please, you have the floor.
I must commend the effort. I've not been able to join most time because I'm always in class on Saturdays. Talking to what Engineer Oluokere said, we're also thinking, and I will also appreciate if I can get collaboration on this, just walking the talk. We're also trying to see if we can open an office in the UK in the new year and thinking of what Mr. Aboyeze said about a trading house or hub in Canada, to see the possibility of getting that done to ease market access in the UK. I think it's something we should look out for. And like you was suggested, I think it would be great also to get other people from other countries to be able to give the right perspective to how probably they are doing it in those countries. And I think particularly from Ghana, I've engaged someone from Ghana before at the program in BI, and he talked about what the government is doing to support and what the private sector is doing. I think hearing from other countries on what they've been able to do, we probably also had a lot of value in the new year. Thank you.
We appreciate you, sir. If you see Talking Trade knocking at your door, you know what we are coming for. And everybody will be probably lining up behind me. They'll just use my hand to knock. So this is just to put you on notice that you might be receiving August visitors in January 2022. Thanks so much for your comment. I don't know who have I omitted. Please, if we have discussed your please.
We have Yasir and Ada Fayed.
Yeah, I checked. I'm not seeing Yasir on the call. You know, he had informed us that he might be in transit somewhere. I haven't seen him here on the participants list. Neither have I seen Ada from France. So okay. I might be handing back to you, Lady K.
Okay, thank you so very much. Wonderful, wonderful listening to all the testimonials. So at this stage, we want to leave the door. We want to bring in all our experts now. Like we said earlier, it's like a roundtable discussion on what you have mentioned it. Some of you have mentioned it. What you want to see happen henceforth. What we have done so far is to give information, right? I'll be sharing my screen once more for one of the quotations. Just one moment. Sharing the screen for us to see what is it that we have done. You can see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what we have done
yes, we can see it.
with Femi Boyede is to share information. And as Oscar White said, private information is practically the source of every large modern fortune. You will agree with me that we have really shared a lot. We have really helped a lot of people to get their businesses off the ground. Just this past week, I got a call from someone who was asking about how to actually import palm oil from Nigeria. I said, put it on the platform. You're going to get the answer that you need. And I've had other people in the past also connecting to ask various questions. I don't bother my head. I just say, put it on the platform. Because I know on the platform, they're going to have more than one solution to the challenges they may be facing. And that is what Talking Trade has done. So right now, we are going to open the floor for all our experts that are in the house for the last time this year for us to feed off the table of your wealth of knowledge. So we are not calling you just like in any other place. It's like a circle. How do you put it? Just go for it. You want to talk? It's like a roundtable discussion, right, Mr. Boyede?
Yes, just to please let us know, I was just reading a message from Dr. Ken Ukoha, apologizing for not joining. He had a situation at hand and is presently attending to a relative in the hospital. So he sends his excuses, but also his regards, and of course his open door to anyone who still wants to ask him questions, you can do that either on the platform or privately.
Okay.
And for those of us who pray, please pray with him.
Thank you. So right now we are rounding up, and we're going to give the next 5 minutes to our experts to just say the last words, put in whatever they want to say happen, whatever they have gained, they're happy about. Just 5 minutes to that.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to share a quick thought, in response to what Mr. Boye at the end for Africa mentioned, that production without trade or trade without production is incomplete, or that exporters are at the mercy of buyers and vice versa. I think we should make a clarification between trading, between production and exporting. They are not in the same zip code. Trade, I think, is totally different. It's independence of production. It's just the economic concepts involving buying and selling of goods and services with some compensation paid by the buyer to the seller. It has nothing to do with whether the seller produces the products or services or not. Some of the biggest companies in the world today, they don't produce anything. Amazon has been the biggest company for a long time. They produce nothing until recently. They trade. Alibaba in China, they don't produce anything. They just provide a platform for people to buy and sell, and they make money from it. Some of the oldest trading products in the world today has been in stockbroking. But Warren Buffett made his millions from stockbroking. He doesn't produce anything. All he does is buy, watch for a good time, and sell. So what the points I'm trying to make in too many words is we should not allow nationalism or production challenges to hinder us from making meaningful trade. You don't even have to see the product. You don't have to own the products. You could be just a broker for the trade, for the products and services, and you could make your money in a big way. Now, the issue of production is a separate thing. The issue of exports is worthy of consideration, but none of these two elements of trade should be an impediment to making meaningful trade. That's what I thought I would share with my big bosses there.
I agree entirely with you, engineer. And just to clarify also, I wasn't going to confuse trade with production or with the passionate, to borrow your word, nationalistic orientation of asking the question that Chimere asked. For that matter, I believe that that is a topic that we actually need to delve into much, much further. Because yes, you can trade in services, which is intangible, but his point was when you are trading in goods. So he has not removed the element of trade. When you are trading in goods, you are either exporting or importing. And I think it was a good capture when he said when you are exporting, that is trading in the goods, you are at the mercy of the buyer. And when you are importing, also trading in the goods, you are buying from the person who made it. So I think that, my takeaway from that is now we need to actually create a session where we can be looking at what needs to be done to enhance the advantage, the profitability of trade, either as an exporter or an importer, especially from the economically challenged parts of the world. In those days, that's a historical part of me now. In the university, I was a member of the Palm Wine Drinkers Club. I was actually a songito, and one of the songs that we sang about was about the cow that was conscripted from northern Nigeria and kind of created to Europe. And by the time he was coming back, it came back in a very, very decorated palm, tin can, and it's now corned beef that everybody is competing for with this thing. So yeah, we need to revisit all of that. And I agree with the examples that you have cited. Uber does not own any car. But for every ride that you take, Uber collects even higher than the person who bought the car and who fuels and maintains it. The Uber component is probably about 57 to 60%. And the driver who owns the car actually gets about 40% or what. So there are so many things that it's wide. It's wide. Amazon is a very brilliant example, and people thank God that there are people as micro entrepreneurs from developing economies who are also trading on Amazon. These are things that definitely we'll be looking at. I also noticed on the somebody dropped a chat in the group. Yes, the answer to your question is yes, every participant can raise up their hand and make a contribution. And so, Lady K, permit me to invite Prince Lekon Fadina. He asked that question. I think he has a comment to make. Prince Fadina, please. Are you there?
While we are waiting for him, we also have Ibrahim Olaruna.
Yeah, so let's take Ibrahim while we wait for Fadina.
Thank you.
I want to say good job, my sister and my brother.
Welcome,
the reason why I have not been joining has been because whenever you guys have it, either it's clashes with my class or also clashes with me, also facilitating all that discussions. But I want to say good job, great job that you are all doing. So I know it's not a time to have a lot of discussion, but one quick thing I've heard and I've listened to in terms of relating to the trade and export. I thought we're focusing on more for Nigeria. How can we export our product? And I saw a lot of comment about the brother that Mr. Father Africa that talk about the capacity of being able to produce a lot and that we can export. And also Mr. Fadina talking about the quality. But one thing I've seen about Nigeria is if we don't have enough product to export, then it's going to be another issue. So how can Nigeria actually focus on production, quality production, and that able to supply local market? Then from there, we can also get quality product to export. Because right now, a lot of our product is not enough to even export, right? And when you look at here, I drove 2 days to New Brunswick in summer, from Toronto on 2 days drive to New Brunswick. It was farms along the way, right? So in terms of the quality, capacity to actually produce, our farmers still have problems. This year, the whole Kogi state did not have access to fertilizer. If the whole state do not have access to fertilizer, how would they be able to produce enough for local market? And to talk about exporting. So I think there are a lot of issues as well. That's going to be a factors that is going to impact our product that we export, the quality and the production. And I totally agree that we need to focus more on quality production so that we can get enough to export and sell our product as well. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. That is Ibrahim Aruna, Chairman, Board of Directors, Association of Northern Nigerians in Canada. We thank you for your comment. Danladi Kaje, I can see your hand up. You can unmute yourself if you're able to speak now. And if you can put yourself.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay,
Good evening.
So please, I just want to appreciate this the team here. I as a person, I'm new into this. I had the idea to go into export in 2019, and in 2019, I went into information search, and honestly, it was a very familiar task for me. I travel from Jos, I'm based in Jos. I travel severally to Lagos for export trainings, and a lot of times I come back disappointed because of the content of information I received there. I must say, and because I didn't want to stop, I even went on the internet to search for any information of any export where I can have a one-on-one discussion, like a guide. You know, I got frustrated. In fact, I actually called somebody talks to you. But you see, when this talking trade series came on, I must say that the quality and quantity of information I have received so far, I cannot describe it. I want to appreciate you and I want to thank you more seriously. And one thing I want to solicit is that it's very unfortunate that we came at a time where this business, so to say, is very, very challenging. A lot of things, we face a lot of things. The COVID-19, our Nigerian environment, infrastructure, logistics, everything is so difficult as a beginner to start this. To delve into. I want to suggest that please, if you can identify some of these new beginners that want to go into this trade, at least you lift their hand, bring them. Try to know what their challenges are, and then help them. And at the end of the year, just like we're having this, celebrate them by just identifying them and then congratulating them. I think that will give a booster to a lot of people, and you will leave a legacy behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate your contributions, Dalaji. Elizabeth Nwako,
please, can I say something? I'd like to say something just briefly.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Please, I want to say something very briefly, just 1 minute, if
okay,
I can.
1 minute. Okay.
Okay. You see, there's something that my company has begun to do, because I realized that we can actually outsource the manufacturers abroad to begin to manufacture in Africa. For instance, we can get Nike to begin to look at getting their leathers from Kano by moving their processing to Kano, to outsource from Kano where the raw materials are. So we need to begin to look at trade, not just in trading in the raw materials, but also trading in the opportunity for the developed world to begin to manufacture in Africa. In doing that, we will be able to have the opportunities to build the necessary infrastructures at our rural areas where the raw materials are, while at the same time doing great business with them. Because I have a pharmaceutical company in America that is interested in manufacturing in Africa. But the point is that we must make sure, we must ensure that we meet their standards. So I want us to begin to look at the ability to have individual producers abroad to begin to produce in Africa, to move their processing plants to the rural areas where the raw materials are. It's also an important aspect of the trade. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Elizabeth Nwako, your hand is up. You want to say something?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you once again. Thank you for putting up this platform for us to deliberate and how to move things forward. The expertise of, like I call him, Professor Boyede, cannot be overemphasized, and the effort you have put in the trade line and in this space of exports. We all appreciate you and all the other experts on the panel. I just want to say thank you. Mr. Alius is there. Madam Titi and other person, Madam Lady K. Yeah, I'm sure I got the name right, Lady K. Thank you all for all you do. Thank you for keeping the platform. I still want to go back to the issue of production, the issue of export, the issue of trade. And like I always do when I introduce myself, I started by trading. So I'm able to see through the different stages of this storyline, buying from Nigeria, exporting to the Gambia to distribute. Then I was just doing trading and exportation from one.
Oh, we lost her?
Oh, she got kicked out.
That should be the internet.
Enables me to understand these things better. And I realized on our side here, like what the last speaker said and other speakers have spoken on production, there is need for us to beef up all the production line, Africa here, Nigeria here, in order for us to be competitive for the trade in terms of export or trading locally. So when we look at it in that view, we're able to address, everybody has spoken very well in every aspect they have put it. but we just need to synchronize it and know that this production is what will make me to get more at the end of the day, so that I can cut a lot of costs that are not necessary. And one of the major costs that we fight with in production is the major infrastructure when you are starting in order to have the international standard, which an ordinary figure might not be able to build, but some you can't. So those are areas we need to look into. And it has been said by Engineer Oluwokere that few things are coming up fine. So we need to just look at it and say, okay, this is what we are doing in terms of production, in terms of a hub. I know a few times myself and Professor Boyede have spoken about hub, having a place where you just come in, do your production. I think we've even said this, some contract packaging, contract manufacturing for people. I said, if you go to China, you don't go to China to own a factory there. You just get there, you tell them what you want to produce. They produce for you. It reduces your cost. And once your cost is reduced and you get the quality that you are supposed to put on the table, you are able to match your competitor from other countries. Then when we move ahead, you probably finish your production and give it to another person to market and give it to another person to trade with. You don't necessarily have to produce and still be the marketer.
Okay.
One of the things I also observe is that when you finish your production, some people will tell you, why not take your names off, put my name on it? Why can't we co-name it? Prof, you remember the production we did those days? We have our name, we have you on it. Why can't we do something like that? So let's begin to look at the practical approach to solve our problems so that we can really get traction of all we are doing together, so that at the end of the day, these newer people, the one that are on the line, the next line, everybody at the end of the day, we have something to take home and say, okay, this is what we have been able to achieve in my own aspect of it. I would like to stop at this. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. We have the hand, Prince Ferdinand. I asked you to unmute. Are you still there? Prince Ferdinand, your hand is, you're raising up your hand for a long time. And we have Yemi Awojide. Are you still there? You want to say something? Yemi Awojide?
Yeah,
nice to have you. Thank you for joining. Yes, you have a comment.
Good afternoon, everybody. Great work there. One point I just want to raise is, as much as we have all these good thoughts, everything still bottles down to government policies, right? And unfortunately, we are such an intelligent nation, but at the same time, we do things very unwisely, right? You imagine fuel subsidy is still a big issue, and that's one of the reasons why the naira is not strong enough. We produce crude oil, but we still import finished product, right?
Yes.
Right. We produce cocoa. We don't have chocolate, right? So it goes back to government policy. Government needs to make that pivoting shift. That it's not rocket science. If we create that environment, or what the other speaker said, people would come to Nigeria voluntarily. Now, imagine the IT infrastructure, right? Nigeria should be a hub.
Yeah.
Nigeria should be a hub of IT support for the West, but we don't have power. Yeah, how do you develop IT when there's no stable power? And we are still battling. Is it the 21st century? We are still battling. We don't have power supply. So everything goes back to government policy. And if we don't change the government policies, all the good thoughts that we have cannot materialize, because it's not going to be attractive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those wonderful contributions. And